Good morning and welcome to Digital Dealer Webinar Series. Today's webinar is titled Sell the Appointment, Not the Car, and will be presented by Tim James. Tim is a dynamic leader and sales strategist with more than 20 years of achievement and demonstrated success in driving multi-million-dollar revenue growth while providing visionary leadership in highly competitive markets. Besides being one of the automotive industry's leader experts in online marketing best practices, Tim has published many best practice articles, participated in many online educational seminars, and is a regular speaker at many of the automotive industry's top e-commerce and online marketing seminars. Please welcome Tim James.
Thank you very much, Charlie. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you to everybody that is joining us today. I know everybody's extremely busy, so I appreciate you taking the time to log on and join us as we talk about selling the appointment and not the car. I probably should have added a subtitle to the title, "The 4 Appointments Car Dealers Should Set," because as the description of the seminar, the webinar stated, what we really going to talk about and get into a little bit is an article that my good buddy Joe Webb wrote from Dealer Knows Consulting wrote a while back that really gets into really hits home on what the struggle with most salespeople is each day. We wake up each morning and our focus is, man, I need to sell some cars today, and I got to move X number of cars. And we know, yes, we work in a net 30 industry, and the bottom line is that number, how many cars we're selling. But there's a process and a means to an end that is very identifiable, has been identified. And in Joe's article, he puts the focus on waking up each morning and not thinking about, I need to sell X number of cars each day, but I need to set X number of appointments each day. With 4 appointments, with a 50% show rate on your 4 appointments equal, 2 people show up. Of the 2 people that show up, you're going to sell a car to at least one of them. So with that understanding, we know that there's a lot of variables in play when you are setting an appointment. It depends on what kind are you on a phone up? Is this somebody calling about a new or used vehicle? Are they interested in a specific vehicle? Or are they more interested in general questions about a make or a model? Is it an internet lead? Again, with some of those same variables, they fill out a finance app. Where did the lead come from? All of those things are extremely important in the initial conversation and the information gathering part of setting an appointment, so that we know we're having the right conversation with the shopper. But we also know that the ultimate goal of each and every single one of those, whether it's calls, whether it's a phone up or an outgoing call following up on an email lead, whatever it might be, the ultimate goal is to get somebody to the lot. Nothing happens until the shopper shows up on the lot, and you have the opportunity to finally sell them a car. So we know that we spend a significantly large amount of money to get leads, to get people to contact us, to get people to engage us on our website, to get people to engage us on the third-party sites. We know that as the leads are coming in, you spent a lot of time already putting together your process, a follow-up process, whether it's the internet department, the salesperson working the lead from cradle to grave, or working the lead for 10, 15 days, 25, 30 days, and then handing it over to a BDC department. All incoming leads going to the BDC department first and setting appointments for sales, whatever the process might be. The result always seems to be about the same, and that's you get a lot of people interested, you're having great conversations, and you set some appointments, but all of a sudden, for whatever reason, nobody ever shows up at the store. So there's the big gap from, wow, they were interested, to where are they? Why aren't they on the lot? Joe identifies part of the problem with the leaders that he talks to and that he works with as the conversation, talking about to the shopper about when do you want to come in and look at the vehicle, and it's a vehicle-specific conversation. You know, and we have to keep in mind that the shopper's already been looking at the vehicle probably for quite a while. The process now jumps to making certain that instead of just trying to keep it on a vehicle-specific, having a conversation about the car, how do we get the right conversation? And Joe identifies 4 appointments that we're really going to talk about today. The test drive appointment, the trade appraisal appointment, financial approval appointment, and the buy it now appointment. So jumping right into it, the first thing we need to understand about setting the right appointment is that applying some basic fundamental rules of marketing here, and that's that only 2 to 3% of the people, of the shoppers that you engage, are in the now buyer category of the buying cycle. Everybody else is going to be in either the future potential or potential prospect category, and that equates to 97 to 98% of your traffic, of the people that you're talking to. Now, the key to this equation is that they're not now buyers at the time that you're communicating with them, and yet that's what your goal is to reach up and pull them, make them a now buyer for something. So if they're not a now buyer at the time we're talking to them, that means they're not ready to make a $25,000, $35,000, $55,000 decision. So trying to get them to make that decision, trying to sell them the car during that conversation is only going to have a negative impact, because now they classify you, their fears are coming true. They classify you in the same category as every experience they've had, and that's, I just want information, they're trying to sell me the car. So I've broken it down in a pie chart for you. Here's our now buyers. This next section up, about 78%, is a very high probability shopper. These are people that if we can get them to the store, they're going to purchase a vehicle. And the next category, we can even reach up a handful of percentages up into this category, because they are also potential prospects. They are in the market to buy a car. They may still be a week, a month out from when they think they're ready to purchase the vehicle, but part of our job is to change the conversation, get them down to the lot now, because we know if we can get them to the lot, more than likely they're gonna purchase a vehicle. So that's what we want to use these appointments for, to reach up into the cycle, get more of the people who aren't in the now buyer category yet to move in further into the funnel. And even though they may not be a now buyer and ready to make that $25,000, $35,000, $55,000 decision, you still have something they want. You still have something that they need, that they're searching for, that has value. And if we can focus on selling what they need and associating the value with that, it's going to be, you're going to be significantly more likely to A, set the appointment, and B, have them show up for the appointment after it's been set. So let's talk about the first one. The test drive appointment, Joe writes, it's the only thing that the internet can't give the shopper today. The customer can look online and see pictures, color specs, incentives, pricings, videos, all kinds of things, yet the one thing that they can't do is sit in the car and, you know, smell, have that new car smell and get that emotional experience that happens when they sit in the car. This is, though, the primary appointment, the number one appointment that that you're going to want to focus on most of the time. We know that every shopper wants to test drive a car, especially as they are moving further into the buying cycle. They want to drive a vehicle. So, I mean, the same, you can think about it with the shoppers that arrive on the lot. How come we have such a difficult time when a shopper is on the lot getting on to test drive a car? So it's the reason is almost the same, and it breaks down into when they're not on the lot, it's first and foremost, it's time. We live in a busy world, and it's difficult for somebody to perceive, when am I going to be able to fit this in? I got to take the kids to soccer. We've got this birthday party coming up. We've got this going on, that going on. And yeah, I would love to be able to commit to you right now a time when I could come down, but just being able to fathom that in their mind, it's just not an easy thing for the shopper to do. So, plus, it's easy. Everybody's doing a great job merchandising their vehicles online, so that just looking at it part on the internet is a lot easier to do. You get the shopper can get so much more information from your website, from your competitor's website, that they don't have to come down to the lot just to get their information anymore. So the time is a major factor, and second is fear. And this is probably one of the biggest aspects of the whole equation: fear and anxiety. So that fear and anxiety is going to exist all the way through until they are a now buyer, and even while they're on your lot, we'll talk about in a little bit how there's still going to be a lot of fear and anxiety about having to make a $25,000, $35,000, $55,000 decision. That's what they're afraid of. If I come down to the lot, you're going to have a high pressure salesman try to force me into buying a car, and I'm just not ready to make that decision. So how do we overcome that? How can we show value for their time and eliminate the fear and anxiety? First and foremost, when you're talking to them on the phone, make certain that you emphasize that the test drive is a no obligation test drive. Make certain that you tell them that they're not going to be pressured into trying to make a decision. Just by implementing that and making certain that you say the words no obligation and that there's not going to be any pressure, you can help remove a lot of that anxiety. Another major thing that many dealerships are doing today and finding out that it has a significant impact is incentivizing the test drive. If we're not selling the car, we're selling the appointment. So all of the same concepts to the sales process hold true. You have to have an incentive and an offer, and you have to have an incentive. The offer is come down and take a test drive, and the incentive is something. So that makes the shopper's time more valuable. It makes it easier for them to find a time to fit you in, because now they're going to get something in return. And B, it eliminates a lot of the fear and anxiety, because it takes the focus off of having to purchase a car to we're going to receive something. It changes the conversation. So it gives your sales team or your BDC department a great tool to help with the appointment. So and here, just as this, I just threw together an example. Now again, there's a lot of variables that you're going to have to apply in terms of what conversation it is that you're having. Is it an incoming call? Is it an internet lead? Is it a VBAC follow-up? You know, what is the purpose of the phone call that you're on to try to set the appointment? But by simply throwing in some type of an incentive and offering an incentive. Listen, Mr. Shopper, I know your time's extremely valuable, so I wanted to make you an offer. I wanted to give you 25, 50, 100, whatever your incentive is that you're offering, just to stop by our dealership and give us a visit, take a test drive. It's one way of us thanking you for your time and letting you know that we appreciate you considering doing business with us. I assure you there's absolutely zero obligation to purchase. We're going to give you whatever the incentive is right on the spot. And just a simple little conversation like that can eliminate a lot of the fear that the shopper has. There's some must-haves in utilizing some type of an incentive, and it is first and foremost, again, it has to contain no obligation to buy. A lot of people give offers. If you come in, we'll give you this much more off on the car. Bring this, do this or do that, and we'll give you more off on the car. That is still a offer to purchase. In the shopper's mind, it still requires that they make a $25,000, $35,000, $55,000 decision. Your incentive cannot contain any kind of a purchase in order to receive it. Secondly, you have to give the incentive to the shopper while they're there. This will have a significant impact on the sale. It breaks down the trust barrier, and we'll get into exactly why in a minute, but it dramatically breaks the trust barrier down and helps facilitate a positive relationship between the salesperson and the shopper. And you have to incorporate in your process taking into consideration where the shopper's at. If somebody's further away, it's more of a hassle for them to come down. It takes more time for them to come down. You have to compensate for the increased amount of time and hassle that based on where the shopper is calling from. So the same concept goes for the trade-in appraisal. You know, while the customer can gauge the value of their vehicle from Kelley Blue Books out there, or they can't guarantee that the shopper's going to get what they think their vehicle's worth. And we all know, we've had this conversation with shoppers all the time, everybody thinks their vehicle's worth more than what we're going to give them for it. So being able to offer a professional appraisal at the dealership will get a lot of additional shoppers to come down to the store. This is a practice that a lot of dealerships across the country are implementing, and the reason is it is an extremely effective appointment. Again, the conversation goes very similar to the other one. You have to make certain that it's not a decision, that there's no decision to purchase involved, and you actually can find yourself holding larger amounts of gross on the deal, because in the studies we've done, in the shopper's mind, $100 in hand is worth $1,000 in gross on the vehicle every single day. So again, just throwing in some real simple phrases into your conversation. Ms. Shopper, I know your time is extremely valuable, so I want to offer you whatever your incentive is. Just stop by our visit dealership and let us give you a professional appraisal. This way, you're going to know exactly what most of the dealerships out there are going to offer you for your vehicle if you do ever decide to sell it or trade it in. It's just our way of saying thank you for your time. We appreciate you considering doing business with us. It's absolutely zero obligation, and whatever, we're going to make certain that as soon as you get down here and as soon as we've done our appraisal, whatever the incentive is we're going to give that to you right there on the spot. So same with financing approval. There's a lot of markets out there where you probably are going to come in contact with the finance conversation, the finance appointment, than in other markets. People are very sensitive about their credit information. So some of you may get a lot of credit apps right now. Some of you may not get many. A lot of it is a very market-to-market type of a lead. But the bottom line is, if you get a lot of credit apps already, you know that there is some good business in there. You know that if you can just get that shopper to your store, that you're going to be able to get a deal done for them. So being able to offer that shopper the peace of mind that they're looking for, and that is their biggest fear is, when I get down there, am I going to be denied? If I do go down to buy a car, am I going to be kicked out? So if you can make them coming down about something else, where there's something more in it for their time, even if they are, they find themselves on the wrong end of that conversation, you will find that you're getting significantly more good quality people who you can get a deal done for coming into your store, choosing you as the one that they're going to do business with. And then we talk about the buyout appointment, and Joe talks At this point, customers still need to visit the dealership to purchase a vehicle. Some customers live further away. Some have approved financing or are paying cash, don't have a trade-in for the customer, and that just the simple invite of asking them to come in, will have a big impact. The thing about the now buyer, though, the buy it now appointment is this is that 2 to 3% that aren't afraid to talk to you about the decision to purchase, about money. They know what they want. You know how to identify them in your conversation, and this is the guy you have to get to your lot. You can rest assured this shopper is having a conversation with several other dealerships at the same time that they're having the conversation with you. It's only more important that you have a way of being different, not just purely priced based, but you're able to, you're especially when they do live further away, and you are asking them to take more time and pass 1 or 2, 3 of your competitors just to come see you. It's even more important that you incentivize this shopper and make certain that they visit you. You may even want to offer this shopper a higher dollar amount. So, instead of saying, hey, we'd like to offer you, a smaller, again, based on whatever your incentives are, you may want to up the ante here, because as soon as this person shows up, they're going to purchase a vehicle. So this is one of the most important times that you want to utilize that incentive to get this guy down there. So in the past, you guys know this. You see it every day. You see the numbers. Shoppers used to visit almost 4.5 dealerships prior to making a purchase decision. They had to. They had to come there to get information. Today, as an average, they visit 1.4, 1.5. So if you can get them to your lot, the chance that you're going to sell them a vehicle is extremely high. So this is why it's so important to take that extra step and make certain that you are having the right conversation first and foremost, focusing the call on the appointment, and secondly, so that it's not a decision to purchase, eliminate that fear, and compensate, give an incentive for the shopper's time. So you're going to get more appointments. You will have a shorter sales cycle, which is awesome. You're going to reduce the number of calls and emails that you have to make just to get a shopper in the store. More shoppers are going to show up for their appointment, and after more that show up, you're going to we generally see around a 69-70% close rate when you're giving the shopper the incentive at the store when they show up and complete their part of the agreement. It's a theory of reciprocity. That's a big word I'm a country boy, so I'm pretty impressed I got it out on my first try. The theory of reciprocity, that since you've done something for them, they feel obligated to do something for you. And most importantly, though, it breaks down the trust barrier. That's the biggest negative when the shopper arrives on the lot. When the salesperson approaches and he starts to engage the shopper in a conversation, there's still a huge trust barrier up. The shopper doesn't like or trust the salesperson. The salesperson's the bad guy. You're going to try to make me make a $25,000, $35,000, $55,000 decision. I'm not a now buyer yet. I haven't sat in a car yet. The transition from potential prospect to now buyer, most of that transition happens when the butt's in the seat. But I'm not there yet. So I don't like you, I don't trust you, and every question that you ask me, even though it's a simple question like what's your name, is you're trying to get me to make a decision that I'm not ready to make. So when you can engage the shopper in a different conversation and make the conversation about you made a promise to us, we made a promise to you, here's our promise to you, our promise is kept, then that trust barrier comes down dramatically and the close rate goes up dramatically. So very important that we keep in mind that that part of the equation has to happen. So some ideas, some things you can do: baseball tickets, movie tickets, the local restaurants, local retailers. I remember about 10 years ago, the things we're talking about aren't new. Dealers have been doing these things for a long time. I had a dealership go out and buy 100 tickets to a baseball game down in St. Louis. Now, you had to go there 10 years ago. It wasn't all this online purchase stuff and everything like there is today. So they had to go down to the stadium and buy their tickets to the game, come back to the dealership, put a coupon on their website. If you come in and take a test drive, we'll give you 2 seats to the ball game. Come back a week later, I'm talking to the internet manager, and he's like, man, it was amazing. We had actually about 80 pairs of tickets. We had 40 people come in. I sold 30 cars. It was just unbelievable. I'm like, well, that's awesome. But when I was looking at your website today, I didn't see your coupon for the baseball tickets up there anymore. I just haven't had time to go back down and get any more. So, you got to make certain that whatever you're offering, that it's convenient for you, because there's some risks involved. One of the risks is running out of inventory. I don't have any more. This is what the shopper was promised, and I don't have it. And when that happens, you're not able to fulfill your obligation. The theory of reciprocity. See, I told you I couldn't get it out every time. Theory of reciprocity goes out the window, and now the close rate's going to go down dramatically. Not interested in what the offer is. Not everybody, a lot of people in St. Louis are baseball fans, but not everybody is. So it's not going to have the same impact for the people that you're talking to who just aren't interested in whatever the offer is, that the incentive is that you're offering to them. So that's another big risk that you run with especially local retailers and having only one thing to offer. The more things you have in your bag of tricks that you can offer out as an incentive, the better, because then you're going to be able to appeal to a significantly larger amount of people. Next thing is there's with considering those risks, you might want to consider using an automated system. There are a lot of different automated systems out there. With an automated system, you don't have to worry about not being able to fulfill your obligation. The shopper's not sure what to expect when they come down to the store. Am I really going to get what you told me that you're going to give me, or are you just tricking me? Is this the old bait and switch? I'm going to get down here. I'm going to keep my part of the promise. I'm going to come down to your store and let you appraise my vehicle, but are you really going to give me something for it? I'm going to come down and I'm going to take the test drive, but am I really going to get something, or are you just trying to trick me down here so you can try to sell me something? So that's the risk that you're running, and when you aren't able to fulfill your obligation, that is the conversation that's going on. It may not be verbal, but that's what's happening in the shopper's head. So again, the value of a promise cap, it will have a significant impact on the close rate, and you don't have to worry about not being able to fulfill your obligation if you're using an automated system. Some other advantages is you can add the offers to your website. You can add it to your search engine marketing and your PPC campaigns. You can apply these to your third-party leads as they're coming in and make the offers in your autoresponders. You can do email campaigns. A lot of things you can do when it's being done electronically and automated. And the advantage to that is it's going to shorten the cycle even more, because you're going to reach people, you're going to engage people when they're even higher in the funnel, before they've submitted that lead to you, before they've called you. They're even higher in the funnel, bouncing from website to website, trying to determine not necessarily which vehicle they're going to buy, but which dealership are they going to eliminate. And you now are not one of those dealerships, because you're offering them something that nobody else is. You're offering to give them value for their time, and eliminate the fear. So more shoppers higher in the funnel are going to engage you, and now they're telling you what conversation to have with them. You don't, when the lead comes in or the phone call comes in, you don't have to hope that you're having the right conversation. You know that you're having the exactly right conversation. Generally now, because the incentive is out there, before they've ever even called you, they've gone back to your inventory. They've identified the car that they want to test drive. So instead of just browsing, looking to see what you got, to see, you know, if you're a dealership to do business with, they go back to your inventory with purpose and find the one they're going to test drive, so that they don't have to take that extra time when they get down to the dealership. Once they've identified the vehicle that the vehicle they're going to test drive, the mental ownership starts to take place. So you've moved them further into the buying cycle just by having an automated system that adds the incentive component to your website or to your search engine marketing, your third-party leads, and so on. So you also want to make certain that you have detailed reporting, because one of the biggest headaches, if you've done incentive programs in the past, you already know this. One of the biggest headaches is trying to keep track of it. All of a sudden, the incentives are lost. They've disappeared. We're not certain which salesperson we're giving them away. We're not certain which customers got them. All kinds of information. It just becomes an accounting nightmare. And an automated system will make certain that you don't have those headaches. Save you a lot of time in the process. You also want to make certain that you're able to geo-target. You know, like we said earlier, one of the most important aspects is being able to offer a larger incentive to people that are further away. Sometimes a smaller incentive amount just isn't going to do it. It's not enough for the hassle and the perceived fears. So it could be based on an exact demographic. There could be a specific market where you know you have good quality traffic. Your cross sales report will give you a lot of this good information of where you should offer a higher incentive, where you can offer a lower incentive, and so on and so on. But most importantly, you've got to make certain, again, that you have the instant delivery. Again, the concept of incentivizing somebody to come down to your store, whether it's for a test drive, whether it's for an appraisal, whether it's for finance, these things aren't new. Your dealership has been doing incentive-based marketing for a long time. The problem in the past is it's blind. You don't know. You're putting the same offer in front of everybody. So you end up having a lot of people show up just to get the incentive, and a bunch of tire kickers. Nobody buys a car, and we're disappointed with the overall results. The advantage of an automated system is the technology that puts the right offers in front of the right people. So that is the 4 appointments. The focus of, again, first and foremost, making certain that you're setting the right appointment. Take the focus off of the purchase. Make certain that your conversation isn't about, unless you're talking to the now buyer, that the conversation isn't about come down and look at the car. Come down and just come down and purchase the vehicle, come down and do this, do that. You want to isolate what it is that you have of value that the shopper wants or needs, and focus your test drive. And it will be one of these four things 99% of the time. It's going to be one of either the test drive, the trade appraisal, a financing appointment, or straight buy it now. So next is taking the focus off of the purchase. It's a no obligation test drive. It's a no obligation finance approval. It's a no obligation trade appraisal. Making certain that the shopper understands you don't have to worry about your fear that we're going to try to pressure you into buying a car. Those things take care of themselves once the shopper gets to the lot. Once the shopper is in a car, once the shopper gets what they want in return, those things will take care of themselves. Your close rates aren't going to go down, that's for sure. They'll stay at least 40-50%, whatever your close rate is right now. So you will sell more cars just by doing that. However, you can then take the next step and change the conversation by incentivizing the shopper for the test drive, incentivizing the shopper for the trade appraisal, and that will increase the number that come down, the number of appointments you set, and the number of people that keep their appointment. So more of your appointments are going to show, and the bottom line is you are going to sell more cars. So I've tried to keep everything fast so that we have some time for some questions. I think we have about 20 minutes left or so to answer a couple of questions if there's any out there. If not, this presentation will be available on the website probably in the next few days. I believe it was recorded and will be available to review. If you would like to receive a copy of the presentation, then just shoot me an email or give me a call, and I would be happy to send you the PowerPoint, the slideshow, and I'm happy to answer to dive into any of the four appointments into more detail for you. Each one of them we could spend an hour on diving into them and talking about word tracks and how to identify which appointment to be discussing and so on. And Joe does a very good job of that too. That's what Joe Webb over at Dealer Knows Consulting. That's what he does, and he's one of the best out there at it. So with that, I'm open to questions.
Okay, Tim, we do have a couple of questions. The first question is, with technology today, credit apps can be submitted online. How do you combat that?
Well, you don't combat it. It's a great question. First of all, thank you. You don't combat it, you embrace it. Even though the shopper has submitted the credit app online, the shopper still doesn't know what they qualify for. They're inquiring to see if they qualify. They're giving you their personal information so that you can do the preliminary. So your next step is to make certain that they understand that based upon the information that you've gotten from their credit report, that there are various options available, and depending on which option would depend on what would be best for them. Therefore, now those are great leads because you specifically want to have a great tool to use to get that shopper to come down and sit down with you to discuss those options. And that's again is where offering the incentive can play a huge role in giving in making certain that they're compensated for their time, and removing the risk of, I'm going to go down there and then I'm not going to like anything, I'm not going to qualify for anything that's decent. So that's just another step. Another step in that process, getting them down there. So.
Okay, and the next question.
I know there's a lot of you out there. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just one last thought there. A lot of you out there probably get a lot of credit apps these days because there are a lot of good quality people who used to have good credit and are used to having good credit who are worried, who know that their credit has dropped, and they're worried and they're concerned. And the only reason they're filling the form out online to begin with and not coming down to your store is exactly what we're talking about, and it's fear. But they still, you still have something they want, and that is that information about not only do they qualify, but what are they qualified for?
Okay.
What was the next question?
The next question is, what phrases do we listen for in the now buyer that indicates they are ready to come down and purchase?
Well, that's that's a big money question right there. I mean, the shopper, a lot of it can be determined by the type of lead that you're responding to. If it's a phone up, and are they asking about a specific vehicle versus just features of a certain make or model? Yeah, I was looking at this ABC vehicle, this XYZ vehicle, stock number, whatever. I don't know what all that noise is, but I promise you it's not me. Whatever, stock number, whatever. So if they're asking about a specific vehicle, more than likely they're falling down into that now buyer category. If they're asking, do you have? I'm interested in, a certain make, a certain model, in a certain color, with these features. Do you have one in stock? Then they're probably ready. They're very close to being that now buyer, and you would initially start by engaging in that now buyer conversation. There's again, that's an hour-long presentation, so I apologize if I'm staying at a 5,000-foot overview right now, but those are just a couple of key phrases that you could look for in an email or in the initial phone conversation.
Okay, moving on to the next question. Can we target only prospects outside our immediate area?
No, absolutely not. I mean, that's kind of the whole point, is you want to make certain that you are targeting prospects, and the further outside your area, the more important having some type of an incentive to get them down to your store becomes. I'm certain that if you have not seen your cross sales report at your dealership, you want to make certain that you get your hands on it and that you have a look at it, because I know I guarantee you it drives your owner, your general manager, crazy when they look at that report and see how much business they're losing to other markets. So you absolutely want to make certain that you are targeting people further distance away, and absolutely want to make certain that whatever your incentives are, that the further away they are, the more incentive you offer.
Okay, moving on, we have several questions. We may not be able to get to all of them today, but I know that Tim will answer them later on in email. Um, the next question is, you did not mention giving incentives to the BDC workers to get them in. Any thoughts on motivating employees better?
Yeah, I mean, I apologize if I wasn't clear on that. You know, bottom line is you have to, the process has to fit to your process. A lot of stores, your internet department's working the lead from cradle to grave. Some stores, the internet department works the lead initially and then hands it off to the BDC. In some stores, it's the other way around. The BDC works the appointment from cradle to grave. And some dealerships, the BDC works the lead in the beginning and then sets appointments and eventually hands those off to the salesperson. So whichever it is, whether it's the salesperson or the BDC, whether it's utilizing the incentive on the initial call, obviously the sooner you insert an incentive, the shorter the buying cycle is going to be. So if you want to try to work the lead initially with your sales team, and then when the BDC department gets it, have them, give them the ability to offer the incentive. That's definitely an option. But I would recommend that whoever it is, engaging the shopper in a conversation, whether it's by email or phone, I would encourage you to offer the incentive immediately on the very first touch, the very first communication, whether that's sales, internet sales, or BDC. You're in a race. It's all about who can get that shopper to your store the fastest. And it's not an internal race. You're not racing against, it's not internet sales versus BDC. It's your dealership versus your competitor. And they are just as interested in trying to get that same shopper that you're talking to their store before they have the opportunity to come to yours.
Okay, next question. Do you see incentive-based programs able to assist in service department appointments?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and it's not new. It's something that has been utilized for a long time. The interjection of technology is making it a better performing incentive, so that you are able to set more service appointments and get more of those service appointments to show up. So yeah, absolutely, and the concept holds true, not just again, having an incentive in the service department for the service tech to be able to offer on the initial call or the initial email, but even so far as having those offers on the website and in your online marketing also, for the exact same reasons, and that's you get them in front of people who are in the funnel for your service at a higher level before they've made the decision on which dealership to contact. You're shown on the incentive, so they contact you.
Okay, and this is the last question. Can you give an example of how you would include these offers in SEM PPC?
Well, in my opinion, one of the biggof mistakes a dealership makes for their SEM and their PPC is directing the shopper back to your website. Most of the time, we see the traffic is being directed back to the home page of the website. The problem with that is the shopper has put in specific keywords or is looking for specific information, they see your ad says something. Whatever it is that it says something specifically that they are interested in. They're interested in so much that they actually do something that they didn't intend on doing, and that's clicking your ad. And then to then just be bounced to your homepage where now they don't see that. Whatever it was that it was talking about, they don't see it anymore. It's not there right there in front of them. So now we're asking the shopper to go dig around in your website and try to find whatever that information was that they clicked on, and they don't have the time for that. They're not going to do it, and that's why you see your bounce rate so high. So the most effective SEM and PPC campaigns you're going to do are going to direct your traffic to a microsite, content specific to what the offer, what the ad that you have up is about, so that the shopper sees that information, doesn't have to just try to spend a lot of time and dig around to try to find it. It's all right there in front of them. Now, on that microsite page, that's where you would want to, if you're using an automated system, then that's where you would want to have your offers, your incentives, to whatever it might be about. If your PPC campaign, if the ad is about a trade appraisal, then make certain the content's about a trade appraisal. Make sure your incentive is about coming in for a trade appraisal. If your ad, your SEM PPC ad, is about a test drive, make certain that your offer is your incentive on the microsite is to come in and take a test drive. But that's the not just the easiest, but the most effective way to incorporate the use of incentives into your SEM and PPC campaigns is by directing that traffic to a microsite.
Okay, thank you very much, Tim. And that's all the questions. So we hope everyone has a great day. And there's a little short survey that will come up after the webinar. And thank you very much.
All right, thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time.